Hi again then guys, and welcome to episode 38 of Quattroporte, the review series for Gran Turismo's selection of sports and super saloons. And in this particular pick, we're featuring a car which I would say, and this is certainly an arguable point, but I would say, for me personally, as far as all the cars I've owned and reviewed on Gran Turismo, has to be the ultimate sleeper in the game. Because although my personal favourite sleeper is the Daihatsu Storia, which is an amazing car, for the ultimate sleeper, the car which is so understated but at the same time so devastatingly fast, I have to give it to this car. And this car is the Lexus GS300. Now there are two primary versions of this car which I would say are sleepers. You have also got the newer version of this car with kind of a visual upgrade pack called the Vertex Edition. That car's not as much of a sleeper though, because it has those extra eye-catching features. This version though, which is the year 2000 shape, and also especially the earlier model GS300, which is even more understated, are amazing sleeper cars. Now I've chosen to feature this model in particular because it is newer, it's slightly quicker, and it is the better all-round package. It's also cheaper, funnily enough. So why would I say that this is the ultimate sleeper car on Gran Turismo? Well, for a start, look at the car. I have nothing against Lexus. I like them. I think they make good quality cars that do exactly what a car should do. Apart from when their throttles stop working, but that's another issue. This car is boring. It's just a car. It doesn't catch your eye. You probably see them every day, depending on where you live. And it's just a car. It's a nice car, but it's just a car. It doesn't pretend to be anything special. It's not a supercar. It's not an ISF, or a GSF, or an LSF, or whatever F they've added this week. It's just a luxury car. A nice car. A car which people buy because it does what it says on the box. So why is it a great sleeper? Well, essentially because this is kind of a Supra with a boring body on top. That's the kind of brilliance that's underneath this car. Now, it's powered by a 3-litre turbo engine, and with a mid-range turbo, this car can put out 820 horsepower and a massive 862 foot-pounds of torque. It's not that heavy either. It is heavier than, say, a super sports car, but for a saloon of its size and spec, it's not that heavy. 1,345 kilos means that this car is lighter than, say, a Chrysler 300C or a Nissan GTR. That's not bad at all. It puts out 610 horsepower per tonne, and the PP is pretty high for a sedan, 601. Not the highest, of course, but pretty high nonetheless. So, how fast is it? Because having big power doesn't necessarily guarantee that it's going to be quick. Well, it is quick. Seriously quick. Now, it's rear-wheel drive, so it doesn't launch off the line with the crazy 0 to 60 times of, say, a Lancer or an Impreza. But for mid-range and top-end acceleration, it can pretty much beat everything else in this series, apart from perhaps the Dodge Charger. For pure top speed as well, it's up there with the best of them. In excess of 265 miles per hour under its own power means that it can directly take on stuff like the C63, the E55, the Charger, the 300C, etc. All of those pretty much top-of-the-range super saloons that you would usually think of. But in often cases, this has quicker acceleration than many of those cars. And all for the price of 44,000 credits. That's the best part of around 100 grand cheaper than many of its rivals. Not all of them, but many of them. Stuff like the BMW M5, the Mercedes E55, the C63, most of those are 6-digit cars. This is significantly cheaper than them, 2 or 3 times cheaper than most of them. So for pure value for money, at least in a straight line, it's a fantastic car. What about around the track, though? Because, of course, a super saloon, especially one which is more of a sleeper, can very easily be a bit wallowy around corners, because after all, this wasn't designed to be a super saloon, it was designed to be a luxury executive saloon. Unlike vehicles like the M5 or the E55, which are specifically made to be high-performance exotic super saloons. Well, to be completely honest, it's not the best of circuit racers. It is a little bit wallowy. Now, you can lower it, you can stiffen up the springs, you can take the weight off, and those do improve it, but it's just not really designed to take corners at the speeds that something like an M5 is. So as a track car, I wouldn't really recommend using this on, say, twisty circuits, or even most tracks in general if you're going up against stuff like the M5. Those are categorically better track cars. But for any track which allows you to use that pure straight line speed, and especially tracks which are for more normal vehicles, which people won't be expecting to be as fast as they are, then this is a great choice to go for. It's so quick for such a low price and for such an understated look that it is the definition of a sleeper, and that is why I would say that this is quite simply the ultimate sleeper in the game. Now, as I said, my favourite sleeper is still the Daihatsu Storia, which is also a fantastic track car as well as straight line machine, but sleepers are commonly used for their straight line speed, and for straight line speed, value for money and understated looks, I haven't found another car on Gran Turismo which can outdo this. It's so understated visually, but at the same time so quick. Not only is it one of the most normal looking cars of this entire series, but it's also one of the fastest. And there's pretty much no other car in this series that has been, or will be, that has both of those things to the same degree that this car does. So much speed, but with so much understatement. So I wouldn't recommend it as a track car, but as a drag car and definitely a top speed racer, it's a great choice. But that's it overall for this episode. I'll see you guys next time, and as always, thanks for watching.